Indeed, do not waste our time. Now let's move to a different sector. In an effort to revitalize the medical sector, President Bola Tinubu has signed an executive order that suspends import duties and value-added tax on essential medical supplies imported into the country. This is aimed at easing the high cost of locally producing pharmaceuticals, diagnostics and medical devices such as needles and syringes, and biological drugs, among others. The order also provides for establishing market-shaping mechanisms such as framework contracts and volume guarantees to encourage local manufacturers. Joining us this morning is the CEO of Bloom Public Health, Chimezie Anyakora. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
All right. Is this an exciting feat, the move that the government has made, and will it truly encourage local manufacturing?
Yes, for me, I think this is the best thing to happen in Nigeria in a long time. Pharmaceutical sector is the only sector that Nigeria can play a leading role in Africa. We have most manufacturing companies, and for a long time, it has been neglected. So I see this move as an amazing one. This is something I will keep. I'm very thankful to something I will always be very thankful to the president for, because this is an amazing feat. He has shown us. Firstly, the pharmaceutical sector is the sector that Nigeria should see as their own sector to thrive in the continent. By making this happen, it means that many Nigerians who are manufacturing right now will be able to play strongly. Our competitors are Indians and Asians. They have a lot of government support. If there is nothing happening in Nigeria as a government policy to support it, it means that we cannot compete with them. And this is just not in isolation. Last year, the president set up what they call presidential committee to value on pharmaceutical value chain kind of mapping, and is led by a fine gentleman, Dr. Mukhtar. This committee is doing extremely well. So this is one thing they are doing, and I'm hoping that more will be done. It's not only the thing, we need to do more. This is the first step to encourage manufacturers. I've been in this sector for like 15 years, intensely supporting the manufacturers, and I see their pain points. This particular executive order, I see it from two ends: having access to the ingredients for manufacturing and creating markets for them.
I want you to, speak a little bit more about, what other things, have been lacking, because it's not just, this order definitely will be, bring some, comfort, to those in the pharmaceutical industry. But there's many other things that I believe, have held back the Nigerian pharmaceutical industry from being as progressive or as successful as it could, possibly be. So can you highlight these other things that have been clogs in the wheel for the last, couple of years?
Yes, the main one is infrastructure. I was talking with the CEO of a pharmaceutical company the other day. He told me that he spent 60% of his time thinking of electricity, custom duty, and everything. So the infrastructure for manufacturing here is practically non-existent. Luckily, the same committee is trying to solve it. In the next few years, Nigeria will have a lot of pharmaceutical parks, which is happening across the world. In that way, the aim of the park is to see how to solve all the pain points of manufacturing: power, water, waste management, and a few others. And also, the other thing I see that is impeding progress is regulation. The companies are over-regulated. We have to know that we're playing in a global community where people are putting things in place to lead. The pharmaceutical sector is over-regulated. The government should, of course, it doesn't mean that you should slow down on quality, but that regulation should be somehow encouraging. How can I help these companies to thrive? How can governments help them to thrive? I also want to bring something here. Sometimes when we look at pharmaceutical manufacturing, it's not just a business. It's a health security. If India shuts down its borders, in 6 months, people will be dying like all over the place in Nigeria. So as a country, how do I secure my people, make sure they are healthy? So everything that we need to put in place, Also, one more thing is funding. There's no way you can compete with your colleagues in India and Asia if they can get 5% interest rate, and here in Africa, you are getting 30%. So really a lot of things involved, but I'm really excited about this first step. There will be other ones coming up. The infrastructure being put in place, tax breaks, manufacturing parks, and things like that. So basically, also, above all, we need to leverage our pharmacy schools. Nigeria has most pharmacy schools in Africa. Nigeria has the potential to use pharmaceutical sector to lead on the continent. We shouldn't misuse our opportunity. I think the president is realizing that one way we can lead on the continent in a way that nobody can even compete is our pharmaceutical sector. We have the talents, we have the entrepreneurs, we have the manufacturing facilities. NAFDAC is strong. He needs government to see it that way. Don't look at those as private businesses. See it as a country. Want to see Nigeria being the India of Africa. That's the only way to do it. And so basically, let me stop here so that more questions will come.
All right. Of course, we have a lot more we're going to ask you, but let's take a short break. When we come back, we continue with the conversation.
Welcome back to the show. Now, before we went on the break, we talked about the moves that the federal government is making to eliminate tax with regards to the importation of certain pharmaceutical needs and pharmaceutical aids to sort of encourage local production here, and our guest is still with us. Now, I would like you to talk to us about some of the policies that will need to be made as well to further strengthen, the medical sector, the pharmaceutical space. We've seen this, and I mean, like you said, it's something exciting. We're looking forward to seeing the implementation and how exactly it impacts how the production of pharmaceutical materials here. But what other policies would you like to see be implemented?
Thank you so much. One is, for me, is to have Nigerian manufacturers supply public health products. Let me explain. In the past 20 years, there's a big project called Global Fund. They've supplied at least $1 billion worth of medicines to Nigeria. And every year we are looking at hundreds of millions of dollars worth of medicines supplied to Nigeria. When you add all the other donor agencies, USAID, PEPFAR, and so on and so forth, we are looking at $300 to $500 million worth of medicines supplied to Nigeria every year. If I were to be the president of this country, I will make sure all these are bought locally. If you have this amount of money injected into our economy, we're going to be thriving. This is something that I want the government to be strongly pushing, because it is a way to change the economy. Well, it's a good thing to receive all these aids. I mean, that's my sector. I've been there and I see how they solve problems. But imagine if all those medicines, instead of coming as medicines, they come as funds, so that local manufacturers manufacture and sell it. Now, imagine the job creation, the value chain, just to give you an example, a small manufacturing outfit, maybe in Lagos or about anywhere, maybe spending like 30 million naira every year on just to get cartons. Imagine if you have $500 million worth of medicines made in Nigeria. You're going to transform the economy. So this is something I want the president has done well by making this executive order. The second one is to say Nigeria should not receive any medicine as a donation. Any medicine you want to send to Nigeria, work with local manufacturers. Yeah. If there is any lack of capacity, you can work through it over a period of time to make sure it happens. So this is one. The second one is to make sure, first, let me also thank the Minister of Health. It's been amazing. Since he came into this country, since he became the minister, the sector has changed dramatically. He is the only minister that holds a quarterly meeting with local manufacturers. So this is the first time government is understanding the reality of their pains. So, I'm quite optimistic that this will happen. He is a person that is a strong public health player. He understands the politics of public health, he's a patriotic person. So therefore, we are heading to the right direction. So I'm hoping that he will hear this and use his authority and network to make sure that every single medicine or medical product that comes in here should be procured locally. Right. With that, our economy will be thriving.
Ms. Anyakora.
I keep saying it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we need to, be as quick as possible. I would like to also get you to speak on something else. How does this affect, two things actually. How does this affect the price of medication in Nigeria? Because that's a concern. As, the likes of GSK, I believe, exited Nigeria. There's a lot of drugs that then became really, really expensive. So that's a concern. Second one is, there's a trust deficit, between Nigerians and Nigeria-made pharmaceutical products. I'm sure, you might agree with that. That Nigerians see that it was made in Ogun State, and the level of trust that they have, is not very strong because of the availability of products, that basically have not gone through NAFDAC, have not gone through the Standards Organization of Nigeria and all of that. The presence of fake drugs in the market, that is still a concern. So how then do you also deal with that? Nigerians don't trust pharmaceutical products that are made here in Nigeria. And then, of course, talk about the price of drugs.
First, okay, the price of drugs. I think with this executive order, the price will go down because they used to pay a lot of money. So with this now, the price certainly will go down. The second part, let me spend more time there. I think this is a job NAFDAC needs to do. This is where they are lacking. Locally made products are much better than those imported. For two reasons. NAFDAC has access to them. NAFDAC can walk into any of the facilities anytime, any day. And besides, NAFDAC has improved so much. NAFDAC is now among the 5 FDAs in Africa with level 3 WHO pre-qualification, or rather GBT. So I think it's a wrong impression. No local manufacturer will do on purpose fake medicine here. There are two reasons why you have substandard medicines. One is expertise, and one is criminality. Criminality certainly will not happen here. Expertise, yes, but that's something that's been solved with NAFDAC getting stronger and stronger. NAFDAC has over 4,000 people across the continent, across the country, and a lot of things have improved. I've been in the sector. I've been part of capacity building. I've done quite a bit in this sector, and I'll tell you, things have improved a lot. Of course, it cannot be zero quality, but certainly I'll prefer to have a product made in Nigeria than made in India. Because India, we don't have access, we don't have oversight over them. Anybody can do it for money, can give any quality you have. So basically, from that point of view, I'm expecting NAFDAC to ramp up their campaign to let people know local manufacturers are doing well. They've improved a lot. I mean, most times we are still looking at we have mindset of 10 years ago. If you walk around the manufacturers in Nigeria, you see they've improved a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time with us. We wait to see how this policy unfolds and how it's being received by the markets. Thank you for your time with us this morning.